Hello, I'm Charles Cumming. Here's a treat for fans of The Wire, the actor Dominic West reading from my new novel, The Trinity Six. In this section, the hero, Sam Gaddis, an academic, is launching his new biography at a bookshop in London.
Traffic hummed on Holland Park Avenue. Sam Gaddis was looking at a sea of nodding, attentive faces. "Do you know about the siege of Leningrad?" he asked. He hadn't meant to start on that, not tonight, but it was a subject on which he had lectured many times at UCL, and the Daunt crowd would go for it. The manager standing near the door was bobbing his head in a way that looked enthusiastic. It's the winter of 1942, minus 20 degrees at night, 3 million people in a city surrounded by German troops, 1 million of them women and children. There's so little food that people are dying at the rate of 5,000 a day. Leningrad's entire supply of flour has been destroyed by German firebombs. The fires cause molten sugar to saturate the earth at the Badeev warehouses. People are so hungry that they are prepared to dig into the frozen ground to extract the sugar and sell it on the black market. The top 3 feet of soil sells for 100 rubles a glass, the next 3 feet for 50. A bell and a burst of traffic. The door of the bookshop opened and a young woman stepped inside, shoulder-length black hair, knee-high leather boots over denim jeans, and the sort of figure that a 43-year-old divorced academic who has drunk 3 glasses of Sauvignon Blanc notices and photographs with his eyes, even while giving a talk at his own book launch. The woman whispered something to the manager, briefly caught Sam's eye, then settled into a seat at the back. Gaddis wished that he had brought his props. At UCL, his annual lecture on the siege of Leningrad was a must-see sellout, one of the very few events that every student in the Russian history program felt both obliged and enthused to attend. Gaddis always began by standing behind a table on which he had placed 1/3 of a loaf of sliced white bread, a pound of minced beef, a bowl of bran flakes, a small cup of sunflower oil, and 3 digestive biscuits. "This," he tells the packed auditorium, "is all that you get to eat for the next 30 days. This is all that an adult citizen of Leningrad could claim on their ration cards in the early years of World War II. Kind of puts the January detox in perspective, doesn't it? The lecture takes place in the early weeks of the new year, so the joke always whips up a satisfying gale of nervous laughter. But enjoy it while you can. Confused looks in the front row. Plate by plate, bowl by bowl, Dr. Gaddis now tips the food onto the floor until all that remains on the table in front of him are 10 slices of stale white bread. By the time the siege really starts to bite, bread is more or less the only form of sustenance you're going to get, and its nutritional value is nil. The people of Leningrad don't have access to Hovis or Mother's Pride. This bread, he picks up a piece and tears it into tiny pieces like a child feeding ducks, is made mostly from sawdust, from sweepings on the floor. If you're lucky enough to have a job in a factory, you get 250 grams of it every week. How much is 250 grams? Gaddis now picks up 6 slices of the bread and hands them to a student in the front row. That's about how much it is. But if you don't work in the factory, 3 of the slices come back. You only get 125 grams. "And I warn you not to be young," he continues, channeling Neil Kinnock now, a politician from yesteryear whom most of his students are too young to remember. "I warn you not to fall ill. I warn you not to grow old in the Leningrad of 1942, because if you do," at this point he gets hold of the final 3 slices of bread, tossing them onto the floor, "if you do, you'll most likely starve to death." He lets that one settle in before delivering the coup de grace. "And don't be an academic either. Don't be an intellectual." Another gale of nervous laughter. Comrade Stalin doesn't like people like us. As far as he's concerned, academics and intellectuals can starve to death.